Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Crypto Hamster channel. Well, finally we had this increase in the price of Bitcoin above the certain level of like $6,800, and we expect that it may go even higher. So whether there is a change from the bear market to bull markets, who knows? We'll see. And also, of course, some altcoins showing interesting action. So we will look at everything of that. And also, I will share with you my thoughts about the future of the cryptocurrencies market, and those thoughts will be based on some simple but still encouraging mathematical predictions. Let's go!
Let's go.
Okay, guys, so let's start, of course, from Bitcoin, and we'll see how it happened that now we're trading about $7,000. So that was again like a $250 green candle from the level of 6,760 around, and we're now sort of trading in this triangle, which technically would mean that we probably should go higher. So this, sorry, you see this triangle was here, and the same triangle is here, so probably we'll break this $7,000. The thing which I don't particularly like is that the fact that this was made with such a huge single spike, and this resembles me those Bart Simpsons like patterns when we have the manipulation or short squeezes or whatever. So in this market, yes, there's a lot of manipulatory moves which a lot of people do when they have the means to do that. So it would be much better like if we'll make a smoother gradual increase to certain levels, and then like bulls and bears will fight, and we have big volume, etc., etc. But we don't. We just had this small spike here, and now we're trading around here, and we see whether the, let's say, number of shorts is high enough to liquidate them or not. Actually, it didn't fall that much, so I would expect that most of the shorts stops or liquidation prices are placed somewhere above the level of 7,200. Maybe I would, let's say, put the stop order here. So I mean, if I would expect the second, like one more drop, but we don't know, of course, right? So, but anyway, the most of the shorts or stop orders probably around here, so I would think that we probably go above this level to liquidate them, because this is not enough apparently. Also, longs a little bit lower, so when we have this bit, probably because of the people expect, well, maybe they just took some profits, or maybe they expected that from this point we will see the decrease, like correction down or something like that. So probably that was the reason they dropped, but it's still in a very high level. So what I particularly like, and which maybe I shall say thank you for this sort of tip to YouTuber Sunny Decree. He mentioned this in his tweet, that if you look at the simple moving averages for 50 days, this is green one, for 100 days, then they basically intersect around here. So, and when they did before, so we have like decrease of the price. Well, you call that death cross, or opposite situation a gold cross. Of course, it's a more like a hypothetical thing, but a lot of people look at that, and of course you can look at different moving averages in terms of the number of days you average. So, but anyway, 50, 100, like rather substantial ones. So currently we are crossing, and probably we will, since a lot of people look at that, maybe it will be a buy signal for them. So we may have this as a point of the consequent increase in the price. And in general, actually, we look at this trend, so we're still in the very nice smooth trend of increase of the price. Actually, you can make draw a channel here, so it's not that bad. It's not like this it was before, although I didn't like this sharp moves, but still. So pretty much nicely moving, like returning the losses which we got here. Also, in principle, one may see some kind of like a double bottom here. It's not that like clear still, and also we didn't have, well, we had actually a sort of the long decrease, so it may be treated as a reversal pattern in principle. So, but I don't know. It may be like it may look like that. So, like here we had maybe head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. So still we went up, and here we maybe have double bottom, and we may go up. But then it will be like maybe 7,300 or 400, and still we may go one more time low to the low. In principle, actually, the movement of something like this will be reasonable, because before we will go to the date of, actually it's not that far, so this is the date of the ETFs, so probably before ETF it should be the price when people low price when people will panic and sell, and will be like probably media news saying that, oh, everything is down, and probably ETF will be rejected, so it will go to 3,000 or something like that. So in this way the big players can fill their bags with cheap Bitcoin. So I would think that I would bet that we would have new lower low, maybe 7,000 and something, like 7,500 plus minus a few hundreds, and then we will decrease once again until the end of September. And at this place, we also probably see very huge losses for the altcoins. So all the market may go below $2,200 billion again, maybe even well below that. And at that point, probably we will have the true reversal. So this correlation period with the decreased highs at the every cycle lower high, but pretty much the same position of the low will be saturated, and at that point we will go up, I hope. Well, actually maybe it may trick us and we may go up from now, so who knows. It probably will depend on the ratio between bulls and bears in the market, so we'll see. Everything is very tight now. Well, anyway, with Bitcoin doing some interesting stuff, we also can look at the altcoins. Some of them were performing really nice recently, and I showed you my picks in the previous video. So I actually really recommend you to look at this website, onchainfx.com, because it gives you a lot of the statistical information. You can pick a lot of parameters, a lot of the filters and everything. And idea is that if you, let's say, look at the 30-day change or 7-day change, you can see which altcoins are actually doing better than the others. So from 30 days change for the big altcoins, I didn't include like very small altcoins in terms of capitalization. So I would say that there are three best performers. Well, I wouldn't consider Denta coin, because it's a sort of a joke coin in my opinion. So I don't know. Let's remove this from that chart, from this statistic. So first, VeChain. It has 17% for 34% for 30 days. It's quite well considering the bottoming recently. Also, Nano doesn't show here, but actually if you look at the 7 days, it's 87%. So for the 30 days, maybe somewhere around, I don't know, maybe zero-ish area, but still in the green. It doesn't show the value, somehow some kind of a bug here, I believe. So Lisk is not that bad. Substratum also reaching, actually in BTC the situation is better, so we can switch to BTC and see Substratum, Lisk, Hcash, Waves, and Nano. But for the recent 7 days, when we saw this sort of a bottoming for the altcoins, there are much more of them which doing well, and Nano is my first pick, as I told you guys like few videos before. So Nano made 74%. Actually, if you consider the bottom itself and the correction from the increase in the price which happened after the bottoming, probably it was like 300, like 250% for the top, and then maybe 20%, 30% to the bottom, to the down. So overall, maybe still like 200% increase. So it's actually not from the very low level, but the level before the lowest point. But still, like 7 days is a fair measure. So Substratum, another one which I mentioned, one chain. Well, Byteball, 66 millions market cap. Well, I don't know actually. A lot of Byteball, so I cannot say much about that. Again, Icon, Gas, you see, no, Gas, Neo Gas. So it's, I didn't mention it, but Neo is actually one of those. Also, where's Neo? Neo should be around here for, maybe it's not there yet. So it did make some moves like 10% these days, like today or yesterday, but it didn't really show huge increase in price for the whole week. Theta token, so you see a lot of the Zilliqa again, VeChain, so it shows a lot of the coins perform much better than they had during the recent like month or 2 months. So yeah, and it means that we may not be really bottoming, but at least at those lower lows we had a lot of the volume which eventually was picked up with FOMOing buyers, and we ended up having a new relatively high levels. So the question is whether we'll go down from these levels or not. In my opinion, again, it will depend on Bitcoin, and if we'll see the lower low, lower high, and then we'll go down from this lower high, it's a very high chance that all those gains will be neglected, eliminated, and will have even lower value. So I would say if you bought at the very low, let's say for the Nano, you would better to cover some of your gains which you did already. And actually this is the reason why we have this correction of this Nano rally. So people cover their not cover, but fix their profits and try to get another position from other coins which are promising for the next days. So that's pretty much reasonable. And yeah, this is the whole idea. So look at the Bitcoin and see whether it will show some signs of the change of the trend to the downtrend, and again maybe a bear trap which is affecting the altcoins. Also be very careful, so always trade with a stop. So one thing which I was going to share with you guys today is this. So I made a simple calculation. So you know that if we looked at, oh, actually Bitcoin surpassed 7,000. That's nice. While we're making this video, it's now, oh, it reached 7,126. That's very nice. So we see the price in action during the making this video. So let's see. If you look at the, let's actually remove this to make it better. So if we look at the Bitcoin historical trading activity, then we will see that it had, maybe actually let's plot it in a logarithmic scale to see it better. We see that we had few corrections, few strong moves, strong like parabolic rallies to the top, and then some corrections. And there was one like I would say major one, but still like the one which was similar to the current one, and people still referring to that. So when Bitcoin was well, maybe not bottom, but still it increased from 67 to what it is, 1,000, more than $1,000. And then we had, it was December 2013, and then it was decreasing, and it actually fell down to, well, if you look at this like really sharp candles, like $150 or something like that. And from this point, which was very long, from that December 2013, it was already August 15th. So we started finally to catch up and increase in price and have like smaller corrections. Well, those weren't really smaller corrections, so still like 50, 60, 70% corrections. But in the grand scheme of things, you still think it is a more or less constant growth because they didn't last that long. So they in this like a bull market was continuing for like nearly two years from well, let's say 2016, right? So maybe like 2 years and something. And then we again started to have a decrease in price. So what you can think of is to compare these two situations in many ways and see if the market will behave the same way as before or will not behave the same way as before. So like some people actually do the comparison of the previous peak. It is in now it is in Bitfinex, probably in Bittrex or something. We can see the previous price action of Bitcoin. It shows that this part is like, let's say, certain period of time X, this is 2X, this is like 4X or something like that. So it's actually increased in those periods. So we may expect that this new cycle will take even longer than the previous one, which may make sense, but in the simpler way of thinking of that, you may just expect that this previous price action wasn't really that mature. The market was fresh and young, and crazy thing happened. And from this point, we already had quite like a little bit better established market. So that's why we had a relatively long cycle. But then currently, since we dropped much faster than this area, and also again the volume is better here, the technology is better here, the number of exchanges, the information coverage for the cryptocurrencies in Bitcoin in particular is better. So we can expect that this cycle may be even faster than this one. And how do you estimate the change of the speed for that is if you calculate, let's say, this period from the top to the bottom, and then you also would expect this similar period with like scale to a certain proportion, in certain proportion from this top to the bottom, somewhere around here. We don't know where is the bottom, but we'll, let's say, assume it happened just at the middle of August this 2018, because a lot of signs showing that. So we would think that it may be the bottom. So if you assume these two things, that the actual cycles are scaled proportionally, and if you bottomed at this area, because a lot of indicators show you that, so then you can extrapolate this previous cycle to this new cycle and show at which point we will see the new all-time high. Actually, all the previous highs and corrections, we also may include this data. And then you may find the time and the amplitude of this new time high, even the next correction of this new all-time high. So this is exactly what I did, and I made this sort of a spreadsheet. So I wrote down all the dates for all the peaks of the Bitcoin price, the relative price change for each and every peak, starting from the all-time high peak. Actually, this is not all-time high. This is the bottom after the all-time high, and also the period of this peak. And so I wrote down the dates and so on. So then I just plotted the change of the price as a factor of time, and I saw this. I had this sort of oscillating or fluctuating plot. And I tried to even feed this plot with some polynomial function, but it didn't really work well, because you see there are pretty irregular changes in these spikes are not really easy to feed. But anyway, what I did in a simple way, I just made first plotted a distribution of these distances, or like duration of this correction. So, and actually, as we probably know, but this clearly mathematically show that they're mostly rather short, like within a couple of months. Like more than half of them is within 50 days. So, and it's not that crazy. So it's not that tough to handle. So the second thing is what I did is I just plotted the next, extrapolated this data. So this data from the previous cycle, I extrapolated it based on the fact that we had the top at in December 2017, and this was like $20,000. $20,000 for the all-time high, and then we had the bottom at August 15th, and then sorry, not August 15th, but August 22nd, and then we had this bottom price at around 6,000. So I extrapolated this data, the previous data, with these initial conditions, and I had these results with number 7 here. So the results show that the next all-time high then will happen on December 2000. Sorry, it's not that. December 11th, 2019. So next year. So in a year and a half later from now, around, maybe a little less. So the next all-time high amplitude, the value of the Bitcoin price, will be around $500,000. So and also they will reach a new all-time high from the point of now, from the current point from the previous all-time high, which will be $21,000 already in this December. So finally we will have a correction after the major all-time high of $500,000 to $160,000 on February 19th. And actually this is funny because previous all-time high was in December. This small all-time high, next all-time high, will be in December, and this major all-time high at the end of the cycle is predicted to be in December. And the drop was on February 6th, so this drop is on February 2nd. Of course, it's maybe a coincidence, but to some extent it's just repetition, the extrapolation, and maybe there are some patterns which are correlated with the number of days in the year. The idea is that this is actually I think that, yeah, that's correct. So I think that this is maybe just a little simple for the being analysis for real estimation, or considering it as a rule to predict, for law for the prediction. But it's just interesting to see how the changes of the price can evolve, if we will expect the evolution of the market in the same way it was for a few recent years. So maybe it will last longer, maybe it will take 10 years, something like that, but who knows. Still, $500,000 is not that a crazy amount if you'll consider the mass adoption. Finally, with the increase of the speed of the technology, we may think that this may happen actually even faster. So we'll see. Maybe this will have some kind of confirmation in the future. I shall mention that this orange date, February 2nd, 2020, it should be 20th. I actually made it correct in the spreadsheet, but here I made a mistake. Also, this thing was somehow mentioned this in the tweet. So this is of course 2013 again in the spreadsheet. It is correct number. Where is it? Here. So 13th year. So interesting, in my opinion. Just wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what you think. What do you think that we will have such a rally quite soon, or maybe it's too optimistic to expect for history repeating itself? So please make a comment, and if you like this content, if you like this pure hopium, how some people call it, please subscribe to the channel if you didn't yet, and leave a like. I would hope to see you in the next videos, probably tomorrow. Some more interesting data is ready for you. We'll maybe talk about the comparison with the ETFs for gold, and ETFs for other precious metals, and ETFs for Bitcoin, which is expected to be a correlation or sort of repetition of situation with gold when it has it made a start for surge in price of gold. So we have hope that it will make the same for Bitcoin. So we'll see. I will prepare some plots for you, some comparison with other different ETFs for precious metals, etc. So we'll see. It's interesting to look in the global picture once in a while to make you think in more like, let's say, unbiased way. Again, have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you tomorrow, guys. Goodbye.